May Tieu, Y14 women's foil fencer.
Yeah.
May just had an amazing lesson with your coach.
Yeah.
Walk us through kind of what you're experiencing during those lessons.
Usually during our lessons, we try not to talk to each other, so it's mostly just feeling. And then when we do talk to each other, it's all about just technical things. We don't try to talk about strategy. We're just working on the basics during our lessons. So.
Okay, and it was a very fast-paced lesson. There weren't a whole lot of breaks, and it was very fluid from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
Has it always been that way?
No. During the beginning, I actually switched from a different club, so it was just like trying to get used to each other. And back then, we did talk a lot, just because I needed to fix a lot of things. But then, after practicing a lot, like every day sort of thing, then it sort of became natural.
You're now at Premier. How long have you been there?
Almost 4 years now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And through that time, you mentioned kind of a progression, working on a lot of different things, improving a lot of different areas. What would you describe as your biggest accomplishment and where you've seen the most gains in your fencing?
I think mostly I just like working on getting myself stronger, just physically and then mentally too. But it's just like I like feeling being able to carry my own body by myself. So that's like.
All right, and that's obviously working really well for you. You're currently the #1 rated Y14 women's foil fencer, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, and you also have very strong ranking in both the cadet and junior levels, right?
Yeah, I recently just got junior points. So like,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And then cadet, I've been working on it, so I've been in top 8.
Okay, now here this weekend at the November NAC in Kansas City, walk us through a little bit about your weekend and which events you competed in.
Yesterday I competed in junior. I ended 25th out of 200 and something.
Okay. Yeah, it was a huge tableau.
Yeah, and then tomorrow I'm going to be fencing cadet. And I'm hoping to do a little bit better than I did in junior because I did fence well in my pools, but then going on, I think I got more and more nervous. And just like going through the tableau, it's like you just see a lot of people drop out and a lot of strong fencers drop out. And that like sort of gets the nerves going.
What was the source of those nerves that you felt in the junior event?
At first I felt no stress. I thought that everyone's older than me. But then after seeing some of the more experienced fencers like doing badly, then I got nervous, like what happened to me. And then it's just like it sort of grew on me, and then all my friends started getting nervous too. It's just like the atmosphere getting tighter.
Is that awareness of other fencers' results within the tableau something that exists in all of your competitions?
Yeah, it's just awareness. It's like everything is available. You can see how everyone's doing, and then it's just, yeah.
And do you find that awareness always leads to the stress that you described in the yesterday's junior event?
No, I think it was mostly because it was an older group of people, and then it's just like seeing people who are usually more experienced than me is like dropping out. That's not fun.
And you talked about some of the strong fencers who did drop out. Who are the fencers that you felt were the strongest in the tableau and that were maybe your biggest challengers?
Well, there's plenty of girls who like didn't do their best. It's like we saw after pools there were 2 people who were tied for first, and then they both dropped out really early. So then
who was that?
Fanula Magras and then I think Rebecca Stanford. Like they didn't do as well as I thought. They're both really strong fencers. It's sort of unfortunate to see them fall out.
And within the tableau, who was someone that you really hoped you could face to maybe either test your skills or to perhaps try some of the things that you and your coach have been working on?
Actually, I had to see my own teammate in top 64, which was just sad to see like someone who I always fence, and then I had to fence her in such hard environment. And then I was maybe hoping like that she would lose the bout before that, so I wouldn't have to face her. But then other than that, it was like I was just looking forward to the next opponent. That's it.
Bringing it back to the lesson that we just watched here, again, it was pretty impressive how fluid it was.
Thank you.
What are some of the things that you feel you benefit from the most working with your coach?
I think just trying to work on the basics really helps. It seems that a lot of fencers, the more they go to tournaments, they try to lean on other people's sort of techniques. But then I always try to go back to the basics, try to go back to what traditional fencing is, and then I try to always reflect off of that.
And is that kind of the philosophy of your coach, is focusing on those basics, or is that something that you yourself approach personally?
I approach it personally, but he does affect me within my fencing technique, so yeah.
Okay, well, it's obviously working for you with the Y14 #1 ranking in the United States.
Thank you.
Congratulations and best of luck here
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.